of the identity shift. This is titled The Obstacle and the Completion. And I love to work with the obstacles because a lot of the times we don't see what's in the way of what we desire. We know the thing, we know where we want to go, we know what we want to have, we know what we want to accomplish. And sometimes we seem like we can only get so far and we're not able to get past this bumper. I like to talk about the bumper because if you could just move that, you're on your way. High speed, hightailing it, fast tracked to where you're trying to be. And that's fine, that's normal, right? When we use our GPS, sometimes there's roadblocks, sometimes there's work happening on the road, there's a traffic jam. Just redirect me. Or let me know if I should wait, slow down, and it's about to clear up. You know, the more information you have, the better you can get at things. So this is why we're talking about the obstacle today, and the completion is gonna be what we need to do after all of this work we've done in the past few days. So just for a quick recap, we have been discussing identity, and identity is who you are and how you show up in the world. And the idea is for that to be in perfect alignment and in tune with who you really are. You know, we are constantly fed through parental, societal, religious standards, what we should be, how we should do it, what it should look like, what it is, what it ain't, and we can go on and on. And a lot of that stuff is good and understandable, right? But how much of it is ours? And it's more important now than ever to function in the truth of who we really are because it's real. Okay, so this is one of those things where I feel like I need to check the connection because if you guys have been with me, I've been having technical difficulties and the first day I taught a whole 20-minute class and it only gave 5 minutes. And I just don't want that to happen again before I get into my flow. You know what I mean? So let me just make sure this is a thing and it's popping. So I'll give you guys a second to get in here. And those of you who are watching the replay, if you did not see day 1 or day 2, it's definitely worth it to check it out because it'll give you the setup and the framework that's previous to what we're going to talk about now. I don't want you to be lost right here. Okay, let's see. Is this even? Okay, it's working. Cool. I just wanted to make sure this is working. Okay. Hi guys, okay, I see you coming in. Okay, so today we're talking about the obstacle and completion when it comes to the identity shift. And we already went over identity, right? Our beliefs, experiences, and roles, we wrote those down according to how true they are to us, not what other people think and say, but to us. And we examined our behaviors, we wrote down our values. Now it's time to talk about the ego, which is one of my favorite things. So the ego is, I don't like to demonize the ego because I feel like all parts of us have value. And even when I'm talking to my clients, because I'm a self-mastery coach, I call everybody to the table. Divine masculine, divine feminine, the shadow, the ego, the inner child, it's all you. But when you can wrap your mind around or have an understanding about the ego out of context, the misuse of the ego or the shadow side of the ego is like what I like to call, it. You can get tripped up, but once you recognize it, it won't trip you up anymore. So okay, let me give you one definition of the ego. Where did I put what I wanted to? Okay, so first of all, we know it's a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. Cool, right. But also, it's a mind-created story constructed to define the self through external factors like your job, your name, your possessions, your social role, comparison to others. It can oftentimes be protective and defensive, and it craves to be validated in its illusion. So with that being said, sometimes when things happen to us that we don't like or we don't appreciate, our ego remembers that, like, I don't like that, it doesn't make me feel good, I don't want to experience that anymore, that was hurtful, blah, 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 and it kind of records that. So when it comes time for you to do this thing again, even though you've grown, even though you have more wisdom, you're in a different place or space, you go back to the ego, the mind, the illusion that it's created, and the fear that is birthed from it. This is not in alignment. Remember what happened last time? This doesn't work for me. Da, da. And it keeps us from moving forward, even though we know that we should. But what if we could give ourselves a workaround just by knowing its existence and how to use it? So one way I know I'm operating from my ego versus my highest self is what I'm doing and how I'm responding to protect or to serve. And that even goes for how you treat yourself. Are you protecting yourself? Are you defending yourself from something? Or are you serving people with the highest version of yourself? Are you serving people with love? Because sometimes people got you messed up, and that's okay. It doesn't mean it's your ego getting in the way and you're combating all this and that. When you're serving people and you want to create clarity, you're inquisitive, you share, you're serving, but the other side of your ego is protective. It's defensive. It makes you feel like you're protecting an image that you have constructed so that other people don't think or see something differently than the illusory world that you've created in your mind that makes you feel safe and comfortable. None of us deserve that, okay? Because we grow and evolve by the minute. Every time you read something, experience something different, you grow. So why not get in the habit and the practice of operating from who you are now, from your growth? That's the big idea, right? Or what are we doing all of this for? So all of the work we did yesterday, which if you haven't seen yesterday's, I'd love for you to go back and write those things down for yourself, because the idea is to operate fully in that. That stuff we did yesterday is where your truth is. And I like to tell people, and I hope this doesn't go over too many heads, so I studied acting back in the day, right? But the stuff we did yesterday, when you know your roles, your experiences, your values, your belief system, and you operate from that, that is your script. It's like being an actor, and that is your script, your identity. You can always tell a good actor from a bad actor. Some of them sound like they're reading the script. But the ones who embody the character, they make you laugh, they make you cry, they make you hate their guts, they make you fall in love. You would see them on the street and almost want to call them by their character name because they embody that identity so well. You were completely enthralled and convinced in it. And that's what we want to do with our identity. We want to become so integrated that it's who we are, not a performance of who we think we need to be. Does that make sense? Because it comes off inauthentic. And as you grow and start to experience, different things and around different people, some people can pick up on that. And then you pick up on that when you're aligning yourself with experiences that you don't want. You're like, well, how did I get here? Well, you were probably reading the script as opposed to embodying the truth. Because there's a self-trust in self-awareness. And that's freedom. That's what sets you free. So that's what this whole identity shift was about. Hi guys, I see you in the chat. Thank you so much for the love. Tell me if you're picking up what I'm putting down. I know I just be going on and on. I wrote down, you have to decide that you no longer want to disappoint God. I know this is not a religious thing, but God, your creator, divine, spirit, nature, the highest version of yourself that is unobstructed by what's going on and everything outside there. So spirit, however you connect to it. This is what I'm talking about. I no longer want to disappoint God. I no longer want to disappoint my highest self. I don't want to disappoint me, my love, the possibility for my future. I don't want to disappoint that. And that is by choice. So I choose. Once you decide, you guys, well, actually, I'll do that later. But, and so you're never separated from that. You're never separated from that. Sometimes we feel like we're waiting for something over there to happen or to come save us and rescue us. But everything that we need and everything that is vast and everything that we desire, we're never separated from it. We only separate ourselves with, some of the stuff that trips us up, which is why I love talking about this stuff so much. So I wrote down this excerpt from Wayne Dyer, because I absolutely love him, the late Wayne Dyer. And it's from his book, Excuses Be Gone. And I was reading a book called Making the Shift. And I thought that this was perfect to share today as we are talking about the obstacles that you're confronted with when you are in the middle of an identity shift. Hi. Okay, so it says, when you rely on excuses, you allow your false self, the ego, to contemplate what you do not want or what you cannot have. So imagine that, right? You say, I want $1 million. But if you allow the version of yourself that never had $1 million to contemplate that, to meditate on it, to say, well, I never had $1 million. Well, it takes a lot to get $1 million. It's hard to make $1 million. Do you know how hard I'd have to work for $1 million? Do you know how, if you contemplate that, why are we contemplating what we don't want or what you cannot have? Is an excuse. Hi, thank you for tuning in. And then it goes on to say, every time you come up with a reason why you can't do something or have something, you're giving evidence that you are contemplating in a way that is not aligned with originating spirit. Therefore, you lose the power of originating spirit. When you are afraid of what happened last time, or running memes in your mind that tell you it's too hard to make $1 million, I'm nowhere near it, I didn't come from money, I don't have this, I don't have that, that's small. Originating spirit, who created this world, who created nature, the way we breathe and function on our own without any support or help, our spirit would never think or say something like that. It's too big. So what would it take for us to operate out of the vastness of what we're actually made of? As opposed to, that's why I call it the ego. I told you it's those recorded messagings that have allowed us to believe that what has it operates in the past and the future. And it's operating off of an illusion, a mind-created construct. That's too small for originating spirit, for God, for nature, for the thing that makes everything run. So why would you align your thoughts with something smaller than that when you are of the highest and the best and the fullest and the dopest of everything? What can we do to take our thoughts where we want to go? And a lot of people ask me about how I got on $1 Million Secret Netflix. It was because I'm crazy enough to believe $1 million is going to fall out of the sky. I'm not convinced that the only way to bring in $1 million is to work hard, save, open this, I have to have this, I have to have that, da, da, da. Somebody can knock on my door in 10 minutes and be like, hey, I'm crazy enough to believe that. Why would I limit limitlessness? Take thoughts where you want to go. So I wanted to share that with you guys. And really, that was the gist of my message. I think you're picking up what I'm putting down. You don't have to villainize your ego. I just want you to realize and recognize when you're playing small. I want you to realize and recognize when you're meditating and contemplating on things that are less than. One of my homegirls the other day, Erin Yvonne, you guys, she's amazing. She's Erin Yvonne on Instagram. But she was talking about how when your thoughts start to go in a certain way, in a certain direction, and you get anxious and you start to, because you're not thinking properly, you're thinking about the thing that's not going to happen, the stuff that's not going to work out, and all of these things. Why? Catch yourself. We all do it. But in order for us to have a real identity shift, we are going to have to tweak some things. We're going to have to change some things about the way we show up. This is the work. This is how things change. They don't change by talking to a therapist to no end. They don't change by, avoiding responsibilities. They don't change by, you have the control is what I'm trying to say. They change by in those moments. Instead of allowing what you're hearing in your brain to take you down a pit of anxiousness, something that you've constructed in your mind, you have the opportunity to say, no, I'm going to change my thoughts. I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to change my thoughts and think in the direction I want to go. Why would I contemplate, marinate, and meditate on some stuff I don't want. It's only going to exacerbate that in my world. And it's easy to do because we get very justified in our stuff. Well, it's not working. It didn't work before. I've been trying so long. It's been so hard to do. Sure, I'm not taking a hard journey away from anybody. Please. Okay? I know. However, at what point do we not allow the past to so heavily influence the now? We got to make a choice, and it's not always easy. Sometimes we feel like we deserve to be a little self-deprecating, and I get it. Life can be tough, and it throws a lot of doozies. So I never want to downplay or undermine how someone is feeling or how tough things are or how hard it might be. But at some point, we have to decide who we want to be. And if we want to experience different things, we've got to change. We got to shift. And I don't mean an overhaul, change your whole life and become someone different. We went through that yesterday. So if you watched the video yesterday, we had an opportunity to kind of check our behavior against what we say our beliefs, experiences, and roles are based off our desire. Well, let's check our behavior to that. Is that what we're doing? No, let's just make a little change so we can be where we want to be with things. I feel like there was one other thing I wanted to share. Conceptual sense of self. Yes. Okay, I'm not seeing it. So I hope you guys got that and enjoyed that and it made sense. Can you give me a shout out? So I did this. Okay, this is what I want you guys to do. I want you to think about the memes that come up in your mind that create thought patterns. Okay, because your thought patterns create your paradigm. So if you have a meme, you know you want $1 million. You know that. You're a millionaire. What memes in your mind that are created through thought patterns, a pattern means it's habitual. It pops up when you think about the $1 million, whatever the memes are. It's hard work only. You don't have rich parents. It's impossible at this age. The economy is bad. Whatever those memes are creating your paradigm. What are some of your goals? Because I'm about to ask you to set a big one. What are some of your goals that are genuinely in your heart? Losing weight, cutting out sugar, bringing in $2 million. Some of you have already made $1 million, tripling that, having, a certain kind of romantic relationship. What are your goals? And when you say that goal, what memes come up? The economy's bad. The president sucks. The dating pool is terrible. How can I not eat sugar? There's sugar in everything. I'll never lose weight. I can't stay consistent. What are the memes that come up as thought patterns in your mind when you set a ridiculous goal, when you set a goal? That's what's creating your world. That's the answer. If you can write them down, and it's so habitual, most of the time we have no idea we're doing it. I am doing these things and sharing these things to bring them to your awareness. I don't need to tell you how to be. You already know. I'm just making you aware of what we sometimes throw to the back. Because what we think we're throwing to the back is actually on Front Street in our results, in our relationships, in what we feel like we're not receiving. It becomes the obstacle. So if you can, I'm going to ask you guys today, and I did mine. I'm going to keep my big goal to myself. But now that we've done all this work, I want you to set a clear and uncomfortable goal. Get stupid, get crazy, go nuts. Something that you would never do, but you want it. You've always known. Set that goal. Make it clear, make it uncomfortable. And immediately, right when you say it, I want you to take note and record of all the things that pop up in your head that make it sound like you can't do it. Then I want you to ask yourself, where did that come from? And then go on to decide you don't need that anymore. Think thoughts in the direction where you want to go. That's it. That's all. Don't meditate, marinate, and contemplate on those memes that are thought patterns that continue to run as patterns and create your world. We don't want that world. You're good. You got this. We are source. We are connected to source. We have come on. It's time to tap into our power and live from there. We just got to clear up some of the stuff. So I was really proud and happy to do this for you guys today. Like actually pretty much March, this is kind of the work that I've been doing for myself. And I was like, I really feel like people that are into it, they would love it. They would love to hear and understand and find some new modalities and things and get straight to some comprehensive work on how they can make a shift in their life kind of quickly and easily. If you've watched my last video, this one and this one, you have enough of a framework to shift your reality, and it's time. So thank you guys for coming here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for all the comments. I would love feedback and comments. If you listened, if you took this, if it helped you, if it was confusing. Sometimes I'd just be rattling off and it makes sense to me, but it doesn't make sense to the audience. Were you able to implement any of these things? Let me know. I would love that. Don't forget to check me out in the description. This is my Honey Lips tea. We had on the Honey Lips hoodie yesterday, which is a little different. And y'all know I keep my journals because it's all about speaking sweetly over your life. So if you guys are into it, the links are below in the description. Also where you can find me on Instagram. And like I said, feedback, whatever, let me know if this helped you. And I will continue to share in a particular way because I think it's valuable. And I care very much about how we feel collectively and the freedom, fun, and self-expression that we get to experience in this one lifetime that we get. Like, life is short, but it's the longest thing we'll ever do. So why not be free in... So why not be free in the ability to do so for as long as possible? Don't let this stuff trip you up. So thank you guys. I love some, you guys are funny in the chat. Okay. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next video. I'm actually going to be coming live a lot more often because I have a lot that I want to share and I love what it is that I do. So thanks. Oh, the teas are finding. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. If you missed it, don't forget to check out the replay. If you missed yesterday, feel free to check out yesterday. I think it's a really cool, comprehensive stuff that'll help support you in moving forward and moving up. All right, y'all. See you probably next week. Bye. Thanks for joining the Identity Shift.